Good day. Today we're doing a video on the large round bale ring feeder assembly video. So I'm going to show you how to assemble it and how to put your net on. All right, so we unpackaged our feeder. We got our 6 panels. We got our bag of bolts. We got our brackets that go on the top and the bottom of each panel. We have our net and we have our cable. So tools you'll need is a 1/2-inch socket and 1/2-inch wrenches. A ratchet wrench is handy if you have a ratchet wrench. You'll need a little Allen key, a 532 Allen key. 4mm will work as well. If you don't have a 532, you could use a 4mm Allen key. Then our 2 vice grips come in really handy. And I even have a drill with a 5/16 bit on it in case we need to do any reaming of the holes, or just makes it a little bit easier to line up bolts if you need to. So first off, we're going to grab our panels. We're going to grab 2 panels. We're going to make sure the HayBoss feeders is facing up on both of them. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our bolts in the vertical. So I'm just going to clamp it here to hold it while I get my bolts ready. You'll notice you'll have some bolts with carriage bolts. Those will be going from the top down through. Round-headed carriage bolts will be going into these brackets. Okay, so these vertical bolts, they attach the 2 panels right here and right here in the middle of both the flat sections. So right here and right here. So you're going to want to stick a bolt in, and you need a washer on both sides of the plastic. Okay, so we got those 2 bolts hand tight. It's holding our panel together. Now we're going to be putting our aluminum bracket on the top of the panel, and you'll notice you have this stiffener bar that goes across on the top of each panel. So that will make this area a little bit thicker than the bottom, because the bottom doesn't have a stiffener bar. So you're going to need the longer bolts, the longer carriage bolts on the top. So they're 1.25 inches, and they don't have any washers on them, because your carriage bolt goes in through the bracket there. And then you just have a nut that tightens up against the stiffener down here. So if you get those started, okay, so that's our first step here. While it's in this position, we're going to do that all the way around to all our panels. Now we got all our top brackets on, and what we're going to do is we're going to tighten the top bolts, only the top bolts on the bracket. Remember, these top ones don't have washers on them. Everywhere else, wherever a nut is touching plastic, we put a washer on. So I'm just going to go around with my 1/2-inch impact, or whatever you have, and I'm going to tighten these tops up. But when you do tighten them up, you might want to, right before you snug up the bolts, just move your panels and make sure that your bracket is running nice and straight with your plastic panel. So you want your bracket running nice and straight with your plastic panel, and then tighten up your bolt so it stays there, okay? So far we got all of our top brackets tight. We're gonna leave our vertical ones loose for now. We're gonna flip the feeder and we're gonna do the bottom brackets. So you'll notice the bottom brackets don't have a stiffener, so they're gonna need a little shorter carriage bolt. It's a 1-inch carriage bolt with a washer on the plastic side. All right, so we'll flip the feeder. And we'll go and install all of our bottom bracket bolts. All our bottom brackets are installed with the bolts hand tight. Now, next step is to go around and tighten all the bracket bolts. And just like the top side, you'll just move your bracket before you tighten your bolt. You'll move your panel on your bracket so that it's running nice and straight, that the bracket is running nice and straight with the panel before you tighten it. Once you're happy, go ahead and tighten it. Okay, all brackets are tight and straight. Now we just got to tighten our vertical bolts in each panel, the 2 in each panel. That's where the ratchet wrench comes in handy. Because it's a little tight spot, you can't get an impact in there. So go ahead and tighten all those bolts up. So all vertical bolts are tight now. Actually, every bolt we installed is tight now. So we're gonna flip our feeder back, right side up, and we gotta put our net on now. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so installing the net. We're gonna open up this cable. And how we install the net is we are going to take this cable and we are going to weave it through each one of these cable clamps and also weave it through the corners here. Every corner has a hole, so we're going to be weaving it through all of that. But first we have to figure out how to weave that and our net inside of this cable. So to figure that out, there's no really easy way because there's such a variety of different sizes of nets that come with these things. The only way to do it is you got to count every diamond around the whole perimeter of your net. So if you want to just drape it over your feeder, put a little mark somewhere where you're going to start counting. Let's say I'll start from here, and we just got to go around and count every diamond. So we have 207 diamonds. So we take that number, we write that down, make sure you don't forget 207 because you're going to need to know that number. We'll move our net to the inside of our feeder. And then you have these cable clips. Okay, so we got to count how many spaces between the cable clips we have in this feeder. So we got 1 here, then we got 2 there, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
We have 24 spaces, and we have 207 diamonds. So we have to divide 207 by 24, and that is going to give us our number of how many diamonds go in between each cable bracket. What we're going to do is we're going to weave our cable through. We'll start right here. We'll weave our cable through the first cable clip, and then we're going to weave 8 diamonds onto this cable. Then I'm going to weave it through this next cable clamp, and then I'm going to weave it through another 8. Okay, we'll go through here. We'll weave it through another 8. Okay, so now we get to where this corner is, and we want to, because when we used our calculator, it was 8.6 diamonds per space. So we're going to make up the difference at these corners. So we're going to put 5, we're going to weave 5 diamonds on this side of the corner, then we're going to weave 5 diamonds on this side of the corner, and then continue with our 8. So 5 on each side of each corner. All right? And you just basically work your way all the way around. 8 spaces between your panels here on the flat side, and then when you come to a quarter, go 5 on each side. So just to recap here, we counted all our squares. There was 207 total around the perimeter of the net. We know we have 24 spaces between each of the plastic cables. We divided that number, it was 8.625 or something like that. So we needed to go 8.625 diamonds between every plastic clip. You know, you can't do 8.625, you can only do 8 or 9, so we're going to do 8. We did 8 in between each one, and then to make up for that 0.625, we added an extra one in each corner, so we did 8 here, 5, 5, 8, 8, 8, and it worked out all good. So if you have a number that's a little bit, it's not quite divisible and it's a little bit higher, add another, make up the difference in your corners here and add another square for each corner or something. Bottom line is you want to end up with a nice even number, as even as possible, number of diamonds between each space. Okay, so now we got that and I'm pretty happy with it. So now we have to put on our cable clip. So what we're going to do, this cable clip, that's what your Allen key is for. You basically just pull this, loosen the bolt and pull that cable clip apart, and then both cables will slide into that. Get your cable in place there and then just tighten it up a little bit with your Allen key. Okay, and then what you're gonna wanna do with your vice grips is grab one end of the cable with one set, and then grab the other end of the cable with your other set, and wiggle and jiggle and pull the cable as tight as you can and snug it up. Snug the cable clamp up with your Allen key. Okay, so now you have your two tails of your cable. On this one, I'm just gonna weave it through. I just don't want it in the way for the horses to snag on it. So I'm gonna weave it through, and then I'm just gonna electrical tape it. You could even cut it off if you want. So I'm gonna take a little piece of electrical tape, and I'm gonna go at the tail of the cable, and I'm gonna tape it up. And there you have it. You're ready to take it out to the field and load a bale.